Welcome to our first episode of the True Territory Podcast. I'm your host, True.
I'm Flo.
And I'm Ron.
And in this episode, we're going to give you our Super Bowl predictions.
A little recap of how the season went.
And we're going to give a little true and false, so let us know what you guys think and come vibe with us.
So let's get into it. Do you guys know that Super Bowl is in Vegas?
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because as the owner of a franchise or like a coach, wouldn't you, if you know the Super Bowl is going to be played in your city, in your stadium, wouldn't that be extra motivation for you to be there and play in front of your fans?
You mean like from the Raiders' perspective?
Yeah, because they suck.
I mean, yeah, but you could say that about pretty much any year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's no extra
And we got to
motivation.
remember their coach was Josh McDaniels. So
Yeah, and the Raiders suck.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But 49ers Chiefs, how do you guys like that matchup?
Can't say I predicted it, but I can't say I'm surprised either. I like the matchup. I think both teams have been playing well defensively, but also I think we can expect a high scoring game at the same time.
I
At
think
least
the
in the
Niners
first
got it 100%.
Really? Go into that.
And I want to say something about Taylor Swift, but I'd rather not. Niners got it.
Man, I don't know. I'm taking Mahomes over Brock Purdy in a championship game because Purdy looked bad against Jordan Love and the Packers. Horrible, at least for the first half. And then last week against Detroit, he looked horrible again. So I think you can't mess up against Mahomes.
I mean, this isn't really a conversation of Brock Purdy versus Mahomes. Two different defenses. Brock Purdy got a lot more weapons, so
but
it's not really
think,
relevant.
I think what it comes down to, honestly, is they did just prove in the last couple games that they can come from behind, which is something they haven't done before, and like actually win a game as a comeback instead of leading the whole time. But at the same time, I don't know if I see them doing that 3 times in a row, especially against someone as clutch as Mahomes.
the Chiefs, they've played in tough environments in Buffalo and in Baltimore, and they were up the whole time. So I think
their
they're
game
battle
to lose.
tested and they're prepared.
That's actually not true because the Chiefs don't even deserve to be here.
Why not? Mahomes is the greatest quarterback.
Bill should have won. Bill
No,
should
they
have won.
shouldn't have.
Bill should have won.
Should've,
Mahomes is the
could've,
greatest
would've,
quarterback in
they
the
did it.
NFL.
The kicker he sold. They should have won.
They had many. Stephon Diggs dropped a wide open pass.
Exactly.
They
They
had
shot
multiple
themselves
times
in
to
the
win.
foot. They shot themselves in the foot. You're telling me if Stephon caught that pass or if Tyler Bass made that kick, you're telling me they wouldn't have gone into overtime? and
Mahomes
won?
But you
had-
can say the same thing about the 49ers opponents if they just didn't blow their lead.
But they also came back from a blowout essentially.
Yeah, but Mahomes, you got to keep in mind, like, he has no receivers. Besides Kelsey, he really has nobody.
Exactly. That's what I mean. They kind of made it here on a prayer.
Yeah.
No, they did not.
But
Yeah, they
also,
did.
but the Bills at this very same time had all those injuries and stuff like that. So it's like you could say they should have won the game, but we're not surprised that they didn't. either.
Who has a better defense, San Fran or KC?
KC.
KC.
I'm
They-
not gonna lie, he might be right because the Chiefs.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, not in the playoffs. They've only, I think, allowed like 3 fourth quarter points, I think, and then on top of that, I believe they average like 7 points, like allowing 7 points in the second half all season. That's great, bro. I'm not saying they're gonna hold 49ers.
You guys are discrediting San Fran. San
No.
Fran always had
But
stellar defense.
I'm not talking about San Fran. I'm talking about what the Chiefs' defense has done this season, and that's what they've done.
what has the 49ers done this season? They've also been a top tier defense. They're going up against you got to remember they're going up against a team that has no weapons. So what's their main aspect? Sure, you could say Pacheco. They got to shut him down. That's easy. San Fran has a good run defense. Their only other threat is Travis Kelce. Now, the other thing that you have to realize is besides the whole defense perspective, who's really coming back with a vengeance? San Fran. This is their second time in 5 years that they're going up against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and then what happened the first time? They blew a lead and Patrick Mahomes won. That's a team that had Tyreek Hill. That's a team that had Travis Kelce, and obviously Patrick Mahomes was on a tear that year. San
But
Fran's
he's on
not
a tear
losing this
every
game.
year.
San Fran is not losing this game.
But also the thing about the Chiefs is they've been playing really well, my bad, since the playoffs started. Like, they weren't playing the way they were in the regular season. In the regular season, everybody was counting them out, and honestly, rightfully so, because all the bad drops, the penalties, everything that they went through all throughout the year. But they cleaned everything up in the playoffs, and they haven't been making like those big mistakes.
I'm not saying they didn't. They really did clean up and they pulled themselves together. But I don't think they have enough to pull it off for a Super Bowl win. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think Purdy is definitely at an advantage with all of the weapons he has on offense, but I think Mahomes, the Chiefs' experience and everything like that, I'm leaning towards. Here's my thing. I think the Chiefs got it, but we could also be seeing that moment of, like, a lot of people are asking if Brock Purdy is the next, what do they call it? GOAT Slayer, like Eli Manning. So some people think Purdy is going to Eli Manning, basically Patrick Mahomes. So we could be seeing that because he's in the best position to do so. But like I said, I think for them to win, they need to have a strong start and be leading the whole game. Basically.
My thing is not even Mahomes versus Purdy. Mahomes has been crazy this playoffs, but their defense, bro. I mean, they held Lamar, the MVP, to 7 points on the road, and then Josh Allen and the Bills. They even struggled at the second half. I know they were good at the first half, but the second half they were bad. Like, this defense is prepared, and we saw how Brock Purdy did against the Packers defense. He struggled. The Lions defense, he struggled, and then they came back. Credit to him. But I mean, this Chiefs defense. I mean, you gotta think about it as well. Detroit and Green Bay, they're not there. Like, they're young and experienced. But the Chiefs are there. They're there every single year.
That's what I'm saying.
And that defense.
You could make a strong case that Brock Purdy played against two better defenses than KC in the playoffs and came out and won.
I don't think. I don't
Green
think.
Bay's defense, I think, is better, and Detroit's defense is better.
But Kansas City. I mean.
But Kansas City, their defense, at least, they played a great Ravens offense. Like,
and
they've
Bills.
been rolling all year, and the Bills.
And
so
Miami.
It's like, yeah. So they've proven that they can handle like some really strong offenses, which 49ers you could argue is stronger than those, but they've shown they can.
Even the see, that's another thing with the Chiefs. They kind of got lucky with the Ravens, just like they got lucky with the Bills.
Lamar sold.
Lamar
I
sold.
love Lamar
time.
Jackson.
Lamar
by the
sold.
way.
100%.
I think he's great, but he sold.
Yeah, he sold. But what's another thing? Who's one of their all stars that they specifically signed this season for reasons like this?
Who? OBJ?
And he didn't get his first reception until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's very
Chiefs
true.
defense, baby.
That's not Chiefs defense.
Chiefs
How's it
defense. They
not,
shut
though?
him
That's
down.
not Chiefs defense. They didn't shut him down.
They
Lamar
shot-
wasn't looking to pass. Lamar was looking to run
No,
every play.
Lamar, it's the opposite.
And
Lamar wasn't running
look
enough.
at Zay Flowers. What was the purpose of taking that dive into the end zone and getting the ball punched out?
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake.
Exactly. They shot themselves in the foot.
Okay,
They-
but also
if they played the way the Ravens normally played throughout the season, the Ravens would be in the Super Bowl.
yeah,
If the Bills played the way they played,
that's what
I
playoff
think
football
we'd
is.
have.
we all know that when playoffs come, they're playing at a way higher speed and pace.
Of course, I know.
And Lamar, I think that he was too focused on trying to stay in the pocket and prove that he can be a passing quarterback. There's a lot of times, I don't know if you agree with me, a lot of times that he could have ran the ball and put them in a better situation. And when he started moving the ball, I believe on that drive where he ended up throwing that pick at the end, he moved the ball a couple of times with his feet, did he not? If I remember correctly. And they actually got down the field. He put them in a great position to score in that drive. And then
Yeah, I
just
mean,
threw that pick.
it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be a rematch of a great matchup that happened 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Well,
So,
break it down for me. What do you think? High scoring or low scoring?
I think. It's low scoring.
I think high scoring.
I think low.
Well, you feel confident to make a score prediction?
I do. I think 34. Yeah, I think 34 Niners, 27 Chiefs.
Wow.
Really?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. I think Chiefs winning this. I'm going 24-14. I think it's gonna be low scoring.
I think that the Chiefs will put up. I think the fourth quarter is going to have minimum 3 touchdowns.
Because the
Alone.
second half last week against the Ravens, Chiefs, they couldn't get nothing.
Yeah.
And the 49ers defense is as good as it's not up there, but
Yeah.
it's they're still a good defense. So, and you only have Kelsey, like you have no receivers.
I think the 49ers score like 2 first half touchdowns, field goal in the third, and touchdown in the fourth. So what is that, like 24? And I think Chiefs, I'll go 30. No, I'm sorry. I did the math wrong. I'll go 31.
31.
So you got Chiefs
31,
over
24.
Niners.
Yeah, Chiefs.
And you got
31,
Chiefs
24.
over Niners.
Chiefs or Niners.
All right, this should be interesting.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I think for the 49ers to win it, they have to be like starting off strong and holding a lead, or at least be like right with them till the end. And they can't let Patrick Mahomes be the last person on the field, like, because he will leave the field with the lead.
Yeah. like I said, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be high scoring. You clearly think it's going to be high scoring. You think it's going to be low scoring. So we're in for a good matchup. But why don't we kick it off by talking about what we think the biggest surprises and upsets of the season was?
The
Well,
biggest.
As a Jets fan, how about we start with how we thought the season would go?
Oh, we're pathetic Jets fans, by the way.
Yes, unfortunately, we're Jets fans. New Jersey, New York,
Yeah.
in the house, and
Bro,
Yes.
obviously coming into the season, we all had high expectations. We were all pumped, and then 4 plays into the year, it all shot down. I mean, I still believed in
Aaron
Zach
Rodgers' foot
Wilson,
blew
but 4 plays into the year, obviously hurt for the season, and I still had hope. I don't know about you guys, but I still had hope, and didn't go. So
I had hope. They still got off to a good start in the beginning. It was just poor decisions made by the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
I would be
And-
lying if I said I had any hope after that injury. I think I actually texted the group chat and said, like, that's our season.
No, you can't. We went on a little win streak in the beginning. We won the games we were expected to lose, and we lost the games we were expected to win. Kind of a every year story for the Jets. But like I said,
Yeah.
I think that it was poor coaching decisions that were made that kind of tarnished our season.
Which decision in particular you feel like was the worst?
No,
The offensive coordinator holding back Zach Wilson.
and not
Yeah.
addressing the
Everyone says that's Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback, whatever the case may be. If that was the case, we wouldn't have seen the splashes that we saw against KC. We would have seen the splashes that we saw.
And that's
against,
a game we should have won, so the refs
Yep.
took that from us.
And then that's a game that we saw some splashes against Houston, and that's kind of the result of when they lost all hope in Zach, and they said just go out there and do you. And then when he's allowed to play free, he brings results. But when he's being held back and restricted, that's the result of turnovers. That's the result of losses, and that's what kind of frustrates everything.
True, you speak on that as the Zach
man.
Wilson fan you are.
Obviously, he was being held back by being held back by a bad coaching staff. I mean, we all know how Zach Wilson could play. Roll him out, get him in movement, but they have him standing in the
Some
pocket.
play action.
They had him standing in the pocket, and the offensive line was horrible. I mean,
They need to fix the offensive line.
they need to fix everything.
Definitely the biggest thing.
It's
that held
actually
us back.
there's actually multiple reports that came out and said the Jets would be in a whole different position this year, despite what happened with Rodgers and everything, if they just had an offensive line.
I agree.
We're one decent offensive line away from consistent playoffs.
And Nathaniel Hackett, bro. I mean,
He has to go.
he didn't realize that Brees Hall could catch a football until the Giants game. That's half the season, and he said it. Oh, I didn't think he could do that. I didn't think he had that ability. I'm like, brother, what are you doing?
And that's what I mean. That's what happens. I mean, that's the only that's one of the knocks that that I have against the whole Rodgers move is because Rodgers brings in his boys, including Nathaniel Hackett, and then we kind of got screwed in the making.
And my biggest gripe with the Jets coaching staff is that when the report came out bashing Saleh, he's like, they're thinking about adding more help with the play calling. So they want like 4, 5, 6 people to call the play. And how about you just fire the guy, Hackett?
Yeah, but
Different play caller.
the only way they could fire Hackett is if Saleh goes with him. That's the second offensive
I disagree
coordinator.
with that.
That's the second offensive coordinator in his tenure. You can't get a third one when you have 3 losing seasons.
Okay, but at the same time though, we don't really have to get into that whole debate right now about whether or not Saleh deserves a second or not second, another year. But what I will say is the credit that you don't give him or the blame that you give him on offense, you just have to give him the same credit for the defense if we're doing that when it comes to coordinators and offensive.
Who,
and
Saleh?
defense. Yeah, because if you're gonna
No.
blame him for the OCs, then you got to give him credit for the defense. Because
Bro.
you can't be like the offense sucks because of Saleh and the OCs, but the defense is good
No one
because of
said
Ober.
no one. I think at least me. I'm not saying it's because of Saleh for the offense.
Mhm.
The offense is Hackett. I'm just saying you can't fire Hackett without firing Saleh because that's the second offensive coordinator that he brought in.
I don't buy these like unspoken rules like that. It's like
It's just it's
Why would
just,
you
it
start
goes without
over?
saying in management. That's all it is. You can't. A GM could do that because it's kind of an owner could do that by cleaning house. If the owner believes in the GM could also clean house and even let go of players. But for a head coach to bring in his own guy at OC, didn't turn out well.
But
Brought in another guy, didn't turn out well. You can't have a run at a third guy, especially if you don't have one winning season.
But hear
you
me
have
out.
no winning seasons under your belt.
There's 3 sides to football, right? Offensive, defensive, special teams, right? Jets are good defensively. They're fine special teams wise. And it's really just the offense that we've been struggling for a couple years. So why blow up the whole thing? Restart over when you have a talented defense. You have Aaron Rodgers, hopefully. Why blow the whole thing up when you couldn't just focus on solving that one problem that you failed on this year?
Here's my
Because the
keep in mind, we hired Hackett only because of Rodgers, and
Exactly.
he didn't get Rodgers. So I don't see a problem in getting rid of Hackett and keeping Salah. I really don't.
I have this. This is my thing. Like I know the narrative out there is, oh, we'll just get Rodgers on the field and we're a playoff team. But after going back to the Chiefs, after watching the Chiefs go, I mean, who's the more talented team, Chiefs or Bills?
Bills,
Who's the more talented team, Chiefs or Ravens?
Ravens.
And the Chiefs still won because of coaching. The Jets are probably going to be more talented than the Texans. They're going to be more talented than probably Miami or whatever. But when it comes to coaching, do you trust Salah out coaching Andy Reid or out coaching even the John Harbaugh from the Ravens, or even Jim Harbaugh? Now he's with the Chargers.
That's a great question.
I don't trust them in the big time out coaching
If
another
I'm being
qualified head
honest,
coach.
See, that's where you get it wrong. That with the position that we have Rodgers, that wouldn't be Salah's position. That wouldn't be his decisions to make.
Oh, but Hackett. I mean, the same thing.
That wouldn't be Hackett's decision either.
What do you mean?
You're saying
If Rodgers,
calling a game plan.
if Rodgers is on the field, 100%, it's going to be Rodgers' game plan. It's just going to be disguised as Hackett. That's how it was in Green Bay, and that's how it would be in New York.
Okay, so do you think
That's
Why do you think?
That's why I'm
Why do you think
saying-
Rodgers wanted Hackett? Because Rodgers knows Hackett lets
Will
him
give
run
him
the
that freedom.
offense, gives
Yeah,
him
but-
the freedom.
even with Hackett, he lost in the playoffs?
He still
lost
got
in
to the playoffs.
But the goal is the Super Bowl though. But he lost.
Doesn't matter. Just because it's Rodgers doesn't mean he's
Yeah,
the
but
best
also-
player
but
on
also-
the field.
there are also times where Rodgers lost in the playoffs because of his defense. So
Correct.
you know,
I don't know, man.
at the end of the year, Hackett and Rodgers had an MVP year together, but Hackett is not a good OC unless it's Aaron Rodgers. That's just what it seems like.
But the thing is, how could you be a good OC if it's only for a quarterback? That just proves that
Oh,
the
well,
quarterback
that's
is
what
running
I'm
your
saying.
game.
He's not.
He's not a good OC.
No, he's not.
He's not a good OC.
So how about we go into the biggest surprise? And one big surprise, one big letdown. I'll start it off. Big surprise is obviously twin, C.J. Stroud. I mean, the year he had, take him to the playoffs, even winning a playoff game for that Texan team who has who has a rookie head coaches all over. The Jets should have followed them out. Or the Jets should have been there. But you know, Houston is definitely a problem. You know, in the future years. And my biggest letdown is Deshaun Watson. I mean, this guy. I mean, over $200 million, mostly
Keep my thoughts to
guaranteed.
myself on that.
Bro, I mean, I know he got injured, but even when healthy, he was horrible. He was, dude. Who,
Deshaun?
Deshaun.
He wasn't horrible.
He was horrible.
He wasn't horrible. You're coming to a poverty franchise like the Browns. What do
They're
you
good.
expect?
What you
They're
mean?
not
They
good.
went to the playoffs
They
with
went to the
Baker,
playoffs
bro.
without,
They're
yeah.
not good. With Baker
With
because
Baker.
because it's Baker.
And they did fine with Flacco, bro.
They did fine with Flacco.
They were already in a position to be in the playoffs prior to Flacco coming in.
But Deshaun, I think they were like 500 with him. Like they weren't
Yeah, he
great,
wasn't-
but they
he
weren't
wasn't
bad. They were
good.
You
mid.
gotta remember, he took off a year. It's not easy to do, and you guys are making it seem like they went to the playoffs with Baker as if like
And they won a
Baker's
game.
a-
The first
Baker's a
time in
scrub.
how long did the
They
Browns
won a
go
game.
to the
That was
playoffs?
because of Baker. That's
They
what
won
I'm
a
saying.
game.
It's not because of the Browns. They're a poverty franchise.
No, they're
Baker's
not,
the one who
bro.
took them there, just like how Baker's the one who wasn't expected to do well, which answers the question to one of my biggest surprises is Baker Mayfield on the Bucks.
No, I know, but right now we would all agree Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, right?
I would
don't-
take Baker Mayfield over Deshaun
I would
Watson.
take
Oh, I would
Baker.
take him too, just because Deshaun Watson is a piece of shit. But what's it called? I would take Baker too, but quarterback wise, Deshaun's more talented, right?
I would take Baker. Still.
I would still take Baker.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think Deshaun Watson is talented. I think he's I always thought
Do you
he
guys
was
remember they
I
used to
always
call
thought he
him-
was a Walmart version of Lamar Jackson.
Just real quick, they used to call him the Michael Jordan of the NFL. Do you
That's
remember that?
insane. I never heard that. but
I
that's
never
insane.
heard that either.
They said predicted him to be.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
no.
Yeah.
he's-
What about you? Big surprise, big letdown.
I
Wait,
wouldn't
did
say
you get your big letdown?
No, so my biggest surprise, like I said, was Baker and the Bucks. My biggest letdown was, I mean, it's hard for me not to say the Jets.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to be the Jets.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want this. This is another letdown that I don't want to say letdown as if it upset me. I was actually happy on their downfall, but it's the Eagles and the Dolphins. I called them.
I'm,
I called
yeah.
them since week 2. I said they were frauds, and I told multiple people that they were frauds, and I
Yeah.
was right.
I didn't necessarily think the Eagles were frauds, but I was never on the train that like Miami's going to the Super Bowl or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I never knew that. I never thought either one were going to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
but I knew once the first matchup that they get in the playoffs, they were losing. I knew they were frauds.
Question real quick, just side question. Do you think Tua is a good quarterback?
Not at all.
Me neither.
I think he's alright.
And I'm not saying this as a Jets fan. I truly
it
don't
sucks.
think he's a. I truly don't think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's okay. Like he's
He's
one
a-
of
he's
those
a
he
mid
needs
quarterback.
people around him.
He's a mid quarterback. If you take away Tyreek Hill, you take away Jalen Waddle, and you put him on a situation where you put him in a situation like in Washington, he's not doing well.
Bro, he has
Even
a
with Scary Terry, he's
Great
not doing
wide
well.
receiver core. He has a running back that just scored like how many touchdowns?
22 touchdowns, 23 touchdowns.
And one of the
Yeah.
best play callers is Mike McDaniels in the NFL.
Not good.
He's
Actually,
he-
Mike
he's
Mike
not one of the
McDaniels.
best.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
I'm
He's
not gonna
one of
lie.
the best.
Speaking of surprises and letdowns
Again,
or
you
whatever,
could be a great play caller with those weapons on your team.
Yeah, but
It's not you're not one of the best. You put Mike McDaniels on another team, put him on.
no,
the
but he does
Falcons,
get
he's not
creative.
doing
Though.
well.
He does
he did
get
very
creative.
creative.
He does.
I mean, when you have speed on your team, you could be as creative as you
The
want.
Jets have Garrett Wilson, and they don't do nothing with him. I mean, of course it's Tyreek Hill and stuff, but
Bro,
just
you
the way he
check
can't,
uses
downs.
it.
you can't sit there and compare those.
I think he
you
used
have
them
Garrett
better.
Wilson on the Jets who had his star quarterback go down after 4 plays. His other quarterback who had the potential of making him a great receiver,
I'm talking about the play. calling
restricted.
wise. I'm talking about
And
play
you
calling.
had the other quarterback was Tim Boyle and Trevor Simeon.
I think
So you can't really do play calls with that, and Garrett Wilson can't really do much
All
with
right,
that.
I'll give another example. I think McDaniels used Tyreek Hill better than Andy Reid did.
No,
Nearly 2,000
I think
Yeah.
you just use Tyreek Hill to however it works for you. When
No,
you're
no,
on,
I
when
would
you're on,
I would agree with that. I don't think Kansas City ever had him as the primary receiver. I think it was always Kelsey. Because think about, look, he had almost 2,000 yards with Tua, bro.
Tua.
He can't throw the longest ball in the NFL. Let's just say that. And Patrick Mahomes never got him to almost 2K. They didn't use him right, bro. They could have got more creative with him. And there's a reason he left.
Big surprise, big letdown.
I would say not a surprise, but I don't know what you would call this really. But one thing I do want to highlight, even though I did say he choked or he sold in the playoffs, Lamar Jackson,
100%. I agree with
he
that.
had an MVP year, and that's coming off a year where nobody was even like looking his way. I mean, they probably assumed that they knew that the Ravens was gonna come up with something, whatever.
Yeah.
But based off the reports, it wasn't like people were like going out of their way trying to like contact him, sign him, whatever the case.
Yeah.
And then he has an MVP year, which we all knew he was capable of. So
Yeah.
I like Lamar. I was pleasantly surprised to see him have an MVP year, I guess you could say. And I don't know. I'm trying not to go Jets for the letdown.
There's a bunch of letdowns.
Honestly, I wish Geno had a better year.
That's yeah. I mean,
I
after,
wish-
the year after year last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I expected him to have a better year, honestly. And I hate playing with him in Madden. So whoever makes Madden.
Shout out Aguiado. I beat him yesterday. But all right. So jumping into first segment.
Oh, also, guys, we will be having a fourth with us. He
Oh,
couldn't
yes.
join us today,
Shout out Oz.
but shout out my boy
Oswald.
Oz. He will be on the pod, hopefully by next episode.
So jumping into our first segment of True or False, I have a couple of statements, and you guys tell me true or false, and we can debate on it. So first statement, it's a Jets statement. Mark Sanchez, when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, Mark Sanchez will have a better Jets tenure than Aaron Rodgers. I'm going true. Back-to-back championship games, 27 wins in his first 3
False.
seasons. Rodgers, for Rodgers for this to be false, Rodgers needs to get to a Super Bowl.
That's not true.
It is. Mark Sanchez
That's not
took
true.
this team back to back.
That's not true.
It is true.
That's not true.
It is.
He needs to take us as far. Or
That's not
farther.
true.
No Jets quarterback has ever done what Sanchez did in the past.
Granted,
Who did-
he
who
threw
did-
more interceptions and touchdowns. We're not saying that he's better than Rodgers.
Who
but
did-
No, the better Jets.
We're
tenure.
talking about the
resume, yeah.
Not the better quarterback.
Okay, so who did Sanchez have during that tenure?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
That's
He
what I'm
has,
saying.
wait. Time out. Because he has pretty much a very similar team as Rodgers
Has
will
right
with
now.
this team. Because
I think Rodgers has a better team.
And
Okay,
it-
so let me ask you a question. Who's better, Nick Foles? Just to give you guys an example, Nick Foles or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Talented.
But Nick Foles, tenure-wise.
Tenure-wise, obviously, Nick Foles
But
won
he
the
played
Super
like
Bowl.
5 games that year.
But
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
he
He
came
took
in and
the
was the
Saints
hero.
to
had
That
3 great, not great, but the Saints had 3 good seasons.
But see,
not individually, but like
See,
team-wise, we had good
team-wise,
seasons.
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
see, tenure-wise, it's you can't really say tenure-wise because those aren't individual stats. Like if you look at his individual stats for Sanchez, I love Sanchez, but if you look at his individual stats,
They sucked.
they suck.
Yeah.
What about?
If I'm not mistaken, wait, my bad. Is it like 12 touchdowns, 22 picks?
No,
in that
no.
range.
I think that
No,
was
no.
rookie year.
That was
His rookie
I
year.
think that was his third year.
No, I think this was rookie year.
No, I think it
he
was
was a
his
pick
rookie
machine
year.
his rookie
Yeah.
year. But this is what I'm
I
saying.
could be wrong, but
Bro, Mark Sanchez had one of the greatest playoff runs. We're Jets fans, so we obviously know this. He beat Carson Palmer and the Bengals on the road.
Carson Palmer was a scrub.
But he was good at that time.
He's a scrub, bro.
But he beat Phillip Rivers the next week on the
Phillip
road.
Rivers is a scrub.
They were great that year, though.
No,
that
they
year,
weren't.
At 2009, they were great. The next year, he follows it up with beating Peyton Manning on the road in a game-winning drive, and the next week he beat Tom. When has Rodgers ever done that, even as a Packer? As a playoff run, that's what I'm saying. Those 2 years, even though they didn't go to the Super Bowl and they lost both championship games, he got them there, beating these teams not by himself, but he was a big part in it. And I think Rodgers.
Who were the quarterbacks that he
I
beat?
just want to correct
Carson
myself.
Palmer, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
All on the road, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
all on the road. He beat all those quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Do you see his weapons during those games?
Bad.
What do you mean
Wait,
bad?
Ron, besides his defense, what are you saying that, what did he
He
have?
had
that
Braylon
makes-
Edwards. He had Santonio Holmes.
first
He had
He only had Braylon Edwards the first year, not Santonio Holmes.
and what running backs did he have?
He had Thomas Jones
and
LT
and
then
LT
Sean Green.
and Sean Green.
So good running game,
Yeah,
but not the
that's
best
good running
receiver.
game. Braylon Edwards was a solid receiver first game.
He
and they
dropped a
had
lot of
Dustin
catches.
Keller. Dustin Keller was a solid tight end.
But
Look up his
Braylon
stats.
Edwards dropped a lot.
And
of
then
catches.
doesn't matter. He still caught a lot too.
But when you're playing with a rookie quarterback,
and then
that's
you
throwing
bring
20
him, and then you
interceptions,
bring that same team back, the same exact team back, except you make a change at running back to LaDainian Tomlinson, and you make an addition to the wide receiver game with Santonio Holmes. That's way better than the situation that the Jets have right now, even if Aaron Rodgers played. The only weapon that Aaron Rodgers has is Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall.
All right, well,
I'm not saying
let
they're
me
not
just
great.
correct
They're
myself.
great.
Let me just correct myself from before. I said his first season, 12 touchdowns, 22 picks. It was 12 and 20, so it was close. And the second year was 17 touchdowns, 13 picks.
He got better.
He
So
did. Yeah,
that
he
right
did
there
get
got
shows
better.
you he improved.
Yeah.
That's fine. The question isn't about improving. It's about his
No, I know,
tenure.
I'm
But
just
his
for the
tenure
audience.
is you can't say his tenure because that's like
Okay,
that's like calling out a bench player compared to a player that plays on the Jets right now, saying who had a better tenure.
Okay, are we
No,
expecting?
but they were starting quarterbacks. That's not the same.
Hold on. Are we expecting Rodgers to?
You're
go
talking
from-
about hype.
Okay.
He's saying
Alright,
the
so-
only way Rodgers could be
Wait,
better.
hold on.
He's saying the only way Rodgers could have a better tenure is by going to the Super Bowl. That's not true.
All right. Before we get to that part, his original statement was Mark Sanchez will end up with one, right? End up with a better tenure than Rodgers.
Yeah.
So you said false. So you're expecting Rodgers to surpass Mark Sanchez as
I'm
the Jets
I'm
quarterback.
saying no matter what he does, he's getting us to the playoffs. I'm saying even if he doesn't get us to the AFC Championship, if he could just get us to the wild card, I'm saying he already has a better tenure because
How?
That's ridiculous.
That's
How?
Yeah,
That's
bugging.
you're not considering the fact that Mark Sanchez went to back in
That's
his first 2
crazy,
seasons.
bro.
Beating
And we
these
haven't been to the
legendary
playoffs
quarterbacks.
since, or one
No,
since.
we have.
No, that was
One
it.
since.
Oh no, we
No, that
haven't.
was
We
it.
haven't.
Okay.
2010. Mark Sanchez.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this, so you guys could get a better understanding. Do you not realize
I miss Rex Ryan.
and his first? Thank you for saying that. Do you not realize his coaching staff was way better? Besides his weapons,
They're
do
both
you not
the
realize
same.
the Jets have a solid and stellar defense right now?
Okay, but
do you
it's
not
still his
realize that the
tenure.
defense back then was 10 times better than the defense that we have now? It's easy to win games when you're like
Wait,
that.
you think the defense back then is better than the defense?
100%.
I disagree.
100%.
I do agree with that.
100%.
I think our defense in 2009, that era was
No,
better.
it's
100%.
not.
We had the
No, it's
greatest
not.
cornerback of
We
all
have-
time. We had Cromartie, bro.
This-
we had
This defense, we have arguably the best defensive tackle in the NFL. We have arguably
I don't
top
think
2
Quinn,
top
I don't
5
think Quinn's the
linebackers,
best defensive tackle.
and
in
we have the
NFL.
best corner.
What did you think we had back then? Bart
We
Scott,
had
David Harris.
They were old as hell,
Doesn't matter. They still
They lost
performed
a
like they
step.
were young.
They lost
CJ
a step.
Mosley's old, bro.
but he was elite this year, surprisingly. But we have the best. We
Nah,
have the
he's
best
good.
cornerback in the NFL.
Bart Scott, David Harris, Cromartie. You had Revis. You had I'm drawing a
It's a
blank on
great
who we
defense,
had.
but
it was
this
it was a
defense-
the defense overall was just way better than. I'm not doubting that. I'm not knocking the defense that we have now. If we were to put them on a scale, if you were to sit there and tell me that the Jets defense right now is top 5, and I love their defense, I would say their defense back then on that same scale would be top 2, top 3. So they're both within the top 5. It's just the one back then was a little better.
I think
Coaching staff was better.
I think the reason why, well, of course,
Play calling was better.
And also-
Players and
also-
weapons
also
were better. Like
think
you
about-
can't put all the workload on Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall.
Hold on.
That's how you injure people.
And on top of that, think about what True said about the competition we face in the playoffs.
that's what I was just gonna
We
say.
just beat some elite quarterbacks. Did today's Jets defense, play like the likes of Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and beat them?
That's what I'm
They
saying.
didn't
That's
face those caliber
that's the
players.
factor for me. Is like he went into
Why
those
do you
games
think?
and he
Hold
played great.
hold on. Why do you think the Jets beat Tom Brady at that time?
Mark Sanchez had a great game,
No, defense had a great
of
game.
course, but Mark Sanchez also had a great game.
He did have.
How
a
many
pretty good
times
game.
you see? We're Jets fans, bro. How many times you see great defensive performance?
And also, I want to ask you something. What happened to Rodgers that we couldn't see his first year of his tenure with the Jets this year? He got injured, right? Why? Offensive line was trash, right?
Yeah.
Mark Sanchez had a year and a half to throw on every single snap because of how that offensive line that he had back then was legit top 1.
But here's my thing.
Do you not realize everything points to every aspect of the organization at that time made Mark Sanchez's life easier?
But that's what I'm
And
saying.
I love Mark Sanchez.
Wait,
I'm not
I
knocking
think we should
him.
head to the next true or false question, Loki.
All right, bet.
Someone.
Rodgers gonna be better. Go ahead.
Right.
Sanchez got it for now.
If Mahomes wins this one, I'm gonna save the best for last. But if Mahomes wins this Super Bowl, is he the greatest quarterback of all time?
He is.
I agree. 3
I'll
Super
agree.
Bowls, 6 years, I think.
I'll agree.
Is it 6 AFC championships in a row?
Every year.
5.
Every year of his career,
5.
you literally can't
wait,
get.
yeah, 6.
Yeah. every
And
year.
and his first year starting, this guy threw 50 touchdown.
Just for the
passes.
record?
50 touchdown passes.
Just for the record, and I think Brady was in 10 AFC championships in his career, in a 20-year career.
Mahomes in the
Which-
Mahomes has been
Which is fucking nuts. in and
has
of itself.
and so he's been to 10 and he won 7. I'm sorry, 6 off the AFC, 1 off the NFC. Patrick Mahomes has been in 6 of 6 AFC
insane.
championship games. He won 5 Super Bowls,
He only lost to Brady
and he only lost to Brady. And this
and
is only
Burrow.
his 6th year in the league. He's not even in the league for 20 years. Yeah, he's the GOAT.
and he sunned everyone else besides Burrow. Burrow got that win, but like
And
talk
he's
about Josh
Josh
Allen,
Allen.
and Jalen Hurts, all of them. Yeah,
All right, so I think
children.
you agree?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty easy. I thought there was gonna be a little debate, but here's a lot. This one I think is gonna be debate. Is Lamar Jackson a top 5? The true or false? Lamar Jackson's a top 5 quarterback.
Not at all.
False. Yep. I thought he was
Not
gonna
at
say
all.
yeah.
I'm gonna need you guys to name 5 quarterbacks better than
I
him
can
right
name
now.
7. I think Lamar is honestly not a top 7 quarterback.
Explain.
Okay, so these 4 quarterbacks are clear cut better than him. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, twin, C.J. Stroud, and then these next 3 quarterbacks, I would take over Lamar. Matthew Stafford, don't say nothing. Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence. Lamar's in the
Trevor
8th
Lawrence?
I'm gonna
range.
tell you. I'm gonna
Wait,
tell you.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'll take Trevor Lawrence
Over
right now.
Lamar?
Yeah,
No,
Trevor Lawrence. had-
I wouldn't do that. That's brutal. I'll tell you this.
And Jared
I'm
Goff.
gonna go. No,
I'm sorry.
Jared Goff proved himself. Way better than
No,
Lamar.
I like Goff.
Way
I like
better than
Goff,
Lamar.
but
and Stafford.
Jared Goff got to the Super Bowl, lost to Brady, and then he got to the NFC Championship game and he lost to San Fran.
With the bats, with a young team.
that's valid. That's valid.
So I will say this: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Who else?
C.J. Stroud.
No, not C.J. Stroud.
Can I ask you why you guys think that? And I'm not even saying that he's not, but for Burrow, what puts him over Lamar for you guys?
I mean that Super Bowl.
His
he didn't
work
win the
ethic.
Super Bowl.
He doesn't have he has legit. That's probably the only other team that has a worse offensive line than the Jets,
And he
he
overcomes
still
it.
makes it work.
Yep, he overcomes it.
That's fair.
But yeah, I don't think Lamar's a top 7 quarterback in the NFL. I think politically you have to put him in the top 5, but Lamar is not a top 7 quarterback to me in the NFL.
All right. So I think that's true. Lamar is a top 5 quarterback. I think.
So I'm going to tell you this. Here you go. I just had to pull up the list. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I'll give it to C.J. Stroud. I think he's better right now just because of the ceiling that he got. I feel like we've seen Lamar's ceiling. So C.J. Stroud. I don't think we've seen Trevor Lawrence's full ceiling yet, so I can't put Trevor Lawrence on there. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers.
What did Justin Herbert do to prove himself that Lamar
I'll
didn't?
put Lamar over Herbert right now.
No, why? Just because he got to the playoffs?
Herbert has done
Yes.
nothing. Herbert is
And he has weapons, bro. Let's
Herbert
not
has
act like
done
he
nothing.
doesn't. Yeah.
I don't think
I like Herbert too. But
Yeah, me
let's
too.
Not, we can't
I'll
blame
put Dak
Lamar.
Prescott over Lamar.
Bro. Oh my God.
I'll put
on,
Jared
bro.
Goff over Lamar.
Yeah,
I'll put Matthew Stafford over Lamar.
right.
I'll put Jalen Hurts over Lamar.
Pull up Dak's
Right.
stats.
I'll put her.
I'll pull up Dak stats.
I mean, I think they're both the same kind of. Dak and Lamar. They both don't win in the playoffs.
Go ahead. What do you want to see? What do you want to compare first
Touchdowns to interceptions. What do you got
for this year?
for 2023? And this isn't including running touchdowns.
36-9.
24-7. Like I said, not including the rushing touchdowns. I could find that right now.
But Dak is a different quarterback than Lamar.
A better one.
They were pass heavy. You think Dak is better?
Oh, I'm sorry. Worse one.
Oh, I was about to say. But yeah, man. I mean,
How many rushing touchdowns did he have?
Five.
He had 2. So even if you combine all of them together, he still had a better touchdown to interception ratio.
All right.
What else do you want to go to next?
Question. Who do you think has the better team?
Dak.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Lamar has less talent. Right?
Yeah.
And he went for 14
And
first seed in the playoffs.
7 interceptions, 29 total touchdowns.
And he won a playoff game.
And he won a playoff game. He got further than Dak. I put Lamar over
Yeah,
Dak.
I put
I
Lamar
think
over
the ones I would put over Lamar, let's put it this way, are Patrick Mahomes for sure. I'm not mad at Matthew Stafford, honestly. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at Joe Burrow because that offensive line situation, you guys are right about that. I don't think I put Josh Allen over him.
you're insane.
I don't. Bro.
Why, bro?
Josh
What are you
Allen chokes too.
He's won.
At least he chokes at a further point.
And he does good in the games.
No. I don't put Josh Allen over Lamar, bro. I think
Why, man? Why?
he puts the ball in danger way too much.
He takes too much risk.
Yeah. And I like risk heavy quarterbacks. Like my favorite type of quarterbacks are like Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, whatever. Those kind of guys who do tend to throw a lot of picks. But
So let me ask you this: if you're an NFL owner, who are you picking, Josh or Lamar? As your quarterback.
Lamar's the only one with Brady's cosign too.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
going
Josh-
Lamar on that. I like Josh Allen too, though. And that's coming from a Jets fan.
I hate him.
Fuck
He's
the
good.
Bills.
But we can still-
What's the next true or false?
that was it that I had
was it?
For those few statements. But I honestly thought the Lamar one was gonna be heated, but
Nah.
Ron agreed with me. Flo, I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
like I said, I don't name your top 5 again. One more time.
No order: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow.
Oh, and you put Twin over him.
I put Twin and then Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I can't. It's too early for me to put C.J. Stroud over Lamar.
Bro, I mean, why?
Because Lamar's about to have his second MVP. How are you
MVP,
gonna put?
hot take. And, well, I don't think it's a hot take, but MVP is overrated. Because it's a regular season award.
True, but most of the season is regular season, so it's like you can't just ignore
But the
that.
postseason is what matters. And once CJ Stroud did more in the postseason this year, than
Postseason
Lamar did.
matters, but it doesn't matter if you don't get there, and Lamar got them there.
Yeah, but he chokes, bro. His only
But
wins.
so does everyone else on that list, but Mahomes. Really?
Well, I mean, but
Nah, I can't say that.
They went to the Super Bowl at least, or they got farther than what Lamar did, bro. Lamar's
Josh
only.
Allen didn't.
I mean, he should have. Well, I'm not saying he should have, could have, but he had great battles. I think he just kept going into the Chiefs.
Nah,
But
I don't think they got that winning mentality.
Lamar's only 2
What
wins.
makes you think Lamar is better than Josh Allen?
Yeah, I'm curious with that one.
Honestly,
Lamar's not a good passer.
I look at them very similarly in the sense where they can make like really good plays throwing wise, but
No,
what
not
makes
true.
them special?
No.
That's not true.
What makes them special though is their feet. Josh Allen is tougher, bigger, but Lamar runs better. And I honestly think at the end of the day, he's going to have a better career than Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's won more playoff games than him.
Josh Allen currently has a better career than Lamar.
100%.
Did their careers end this season?
It's only going to keep getting better. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see. Do you guys think Diggs will be on the Bills next year?
No.
Okay, then. So get it
Doesn't
worse
mean anything.
right there.
Josh Allen could get the ball to whoever. Will it be intercepted? Probably. But can it also?
He's going to get it to whoever's on the defense.
Will it be completed too? Yeah.
But Lamar, I think
Listen,
there's
that's the
going to be
type of
that
quarterback
point.
a team wants. A
All right,
team
how about
wants a gun-slinging, risk-taking quarterback. That's the definition of despite being a
Well,
turnover
they don't.
machine.
If they did, they would let Zach do his thing, baby.
Despite the fact that being a turnover machine, they don't restrict him. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're letting him play freely. And yeah, it's going to cost you some games. It's going to be you're going to get some
games.
you're going to be criticized for some of these, interceptions and turnovers that you have. But guess what? He's also in the top 3, top 5 conversation for best quarterback. So that's where it gets you. You got to pick and choose. You can't sit there and worry too much about stats when you're trying to go out and win. He's one of the top teams in the AFC, especially in the AFC East, where we're
I got a question.
informed of.
I got a question. Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, right? Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford. Who else did you name?
CJ, Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I'm not even going to entertain Trevor Lawrence. CJ, I like him. He's a rookie, but I'm not talking on that because you can't put a rookie over a 2-time MVP. What I will say, though, Mahomes, for most of his career, had Kelsey and for a lot of the time, Cheetah, right?
Yeah.
Burrow, who's he got? Tell me, the wide receiver
Jamar
core,
Chase,
because they
T.
got.
Higgins, Tyler
What does that
Boyd.
have to do with anything?
Joe
Hold on,
Mixon.
hold on. Let me land. And Josh Allen got Diggs. He got Gabe Davis. He got
Dawson. He got a couple good tight ends.
exactly. Who has Lamar had that was like any of these guys except
has-
except an old OBJ?
He has
this-
he has arguably a top 3 tight end.
He has
Okay.
a top 3 tight end. He has good
who
running backs.
was injured half the year, but
he
okay.
He has good running
I
backs.
had him in fantasy, so you can't even count that. Like I know about this.
If you're talking about this conversation, you can't just base it off this year. We're
I'm
talking
not.
about
I'm
in
basing it
general.
off his whole career.
He has-
Yeah, he wasn't injured last year. He wasn't injured the year before. Like
Okay.
you're talking about this year that he was injured half
Okay,
the year.
you're comparing one top 3 tight end to Travis Kelce.
He always
Cheetah,
had great running backs.
So how does he get MVP?
He always has great running backs.
because he's like that. That's what
But
I'm
by
saying.
the
That's not an
postseason-
answer.
Okay,
by
wait,
the
hold on.
postseason- yeah, go ahead.
But those quarterbacks that I just named, we can all agree objectively they had better wide receiver rooms their career, right?
No. Well, oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay then.
But
So
that
how's
doesn't
that?
mean
But it's not only based on wide receivers though.
No, I
Yeah,
know, but
Lamar-
I'm saying he had less
Let me
weapons.
tell you
to
something.
throw
Let me
it
tell you
to.
something. Let me tell you something. Can you name me during that time of Patrick Mahomes? Can you name me who their best running back was? It's probably right now, Pacheco, and he's not even a great running back.
So
Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna keep.
okay,
going.
wait. You think Gus Edwards is better than Pacheco or Pacheco? However you said.
Yes,
What?
I do. I think so.
Sweet.
I'm not saying that he's better than him by far. But what I'm saying is overall, the Ravens always had a better running back room than these teams that you mentioned. Overall, they did.
I disagree with that.
I'm telling you, they did.
I don't think the supporting cast matters.
Wait, James Cook is better than anyone in
James
Baltimore?
Cook legit was good this year. Last
Okay.
year he was horrible.
He was
Okay.
garbage.
The year before that he was horrible.
He was garbage.
Okay.
He was never good. He blew up this year.
Okay,
You
but
can't
that's an
just count
example
one
for
year.
this year.
You can't count this year.
Okay, but then even when
Because
I
if
go back,
that's the argument
he's-
if that's the argument you want to make, Cheeto is not on the Chiefs. He wasn't on the Chiefs the last 2 years.
okay, that's fine, but he still had Travis Kelce
That's it.
and he's the GOAT. I said he's better than
He's
Lamar.
a top 3 tight end, just
But
like
I'm
Mark
not
Andrews.
arguing that. I'm just saying he had over his career he had more players around him.
You're going
I
back
never
and
put
forth.
him over Mahomes though,
Yeah, but
so
you're-
don't get hung up on this part. Right
You said you tried to name these quarterbacks. And you're saying,
I'm just saying, for Lamar's credit, he didn't have wide receiver rooms like these did. Then you brought running backs into it. And if you want to bring running backs into it, maybe half of them he had a better room.
Okay. That's gonna wrap up this episode. Check us out.
keep checking us out. Come vibe with us. This is gonna be an every week thing. We're gonna get in heated arguments, and we want to hear what you guys think. So let us know.
the craziest takes and heated debates.
Yeah.
Any last words before we close out from you guys?
Nah, bro. I'm gonna catch you guys next
I
week.
enjoyed this, and I just want to say, if this first episode was ass quality wise, we apologize. We still learning.
Let us know.
And yeah, let us know any advice, anything you want want to hear about.
With that being said, check us
Like,
out.
comment, subscribe.
Check
all
us
that
out
good.
on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It will all be in the link. Probably be on the screen. I'll put it somewhere. But with that being said, see you guys next week.
Come vibe.
All right, guys.